What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about Bitcoin Cash. Shout out to the Dragon Riders in the House of the Dragon. We're going to be going over some interesting stuff in today's video. I think promising stuff that gets me really excited that we are probably going to see the $1,000 price by the end of this year or higher. And I've believed that, but this is just other stuff it's significant to me because it uses the fibs, and you guys know how I am with the fibs. It's significant to me. So we're also going to talk about BNB versus Bitcoin Cash versus BNB at the end of the video for Mr. Hat. Shout out to Mr. Hat and shout out to all the Dragon Riders. We're going to do that at the end of the video and just compare them, see which one's more likely to do better than the other, I guess, is what that chart will tell us. But yeah, let's get into it. Let's stop talking. Other than as far as like TA goes, I think that we've done it, you guys. We've formed our trident of truth, right? We've got your like two prongs on the outside that are shorter, and then your one prong in the middle that's longer. I don't know. I feel like I've seen this kind of bottoming pattern on the candlesticks and topping pattern. I've seen it quite a bit over the time that I've been doing technical analysis, which is well over 7 years, man, almost 8 years. We're at $309 right now. That could have been the low, but we absolutely could go lower. It's pretty common to see these things being pretty symmetrical. I would say that's pretty symmetrical, but it also stands to reason that it could come a little bit down if it wanted to. If not, we might have found our low today at, what is it, 296 and 31 cents. That could have been it. I mean, it's looking like a good reversal so far. A lot of the market's doing this right now. On a 4-hour basis, you had a lot of volume kind of come in, but you didn't move down, and then you had a lot of volume on your way back up. I don't know. 4-hour RSI, bullish divergence. Yeah, there you go. Well, so you'll get at least a little bit of a move there. It's not like crazy divergence, honestly. The 1-hour time frame, bullish divergence. Yeah. So you've got a basis to set up like bullish trends on your 1-hour and your 4-hour. Your 4-hour is actually looking like it has a nice base kind of to it. The daily RSI looks weak, but that can change. That can definitely change. So I'm actually starting to feel confident, you guys, that is the low. I think that's it right there, and we're gonna move up from here. This is it. This is the beginning of a long trek, probably, to prices, well, maybe not that long. I would say by the end of the year, that are up towards, $800 to $1,700, something like that. And I definitely think it's going to be higher than $1,000 at least. At least $1,200 is what I'm thinking. From a high to a low, this is what I was excited about. I was looking at this earlier. From a high to a low, last cycle's high to the current cycle low. Found resistance at the 382, moved down to the 236, and then we moved all the way up to the 618, right? This is a really classic maneuver. I talk about this all the time. I know I talk about it all the time. Anybody who watches my videos daily, who's been watching the channel for the last like year and a half, watch live streams or whatever, I know you've seen me talk about this exact relationship with the fibs. And no, it's not perfect. You literally actually found your top right in the middle here, right between the 382 and the 0.5, but still, I would count this because the next day you flushed right back down to it, right? And then you closed below it and you found resistance on it a couple days later. You even found resistance on it here. I would just say that's a fake out. That's still, I think you still found resistance at the 382 is all I'm trying to say. Pulled back to your 236, classic maneuver. You normally go right up to your 618 after that. Sometimes you'll go to your 0.5 and then your 382. Sometimes that happens too, but went all the way up to your 618, 69 area. First, you tipped your 618 here. Rejected that, pulled back down to your 382. It's very productive. It's very, very productive. Going from your 618 to your 382 is fine as long as you hold it. I think that low is going to hold. I think that this low is going to hold that we just put in today at 296. And if this follows through, if this does what it looks like it's doing, right, from here, all these sequences of the fibs being hit, the next target area would be between the 786 and the 886, which is at $875 to $1,174. Now I know I said 800 to what was it? It was like 1,700 earlier. If we go to the all-time high or the cycle high last cycle, it's around 1,642. Maybe we go just below this. Maybe we go just above it. Something like that. But that's kind of the idea there, is that we could see a move at a minimum that would take us to this area, but we genuinely also could see a move that tests the previous cycle highs. Maybe it goes a little bit higher. Maybe it falls just shy of it. Maybe we tip it exactly, or maybe we just stop at the 886. I'd say it's pretty damn likely, looking at this fib, there's a really solid chance that that $1,200 area would provide significant resistance. And even looking at it here, right, this wick right here at the top, that stopped at $1,216 right there. So you did find resistance there once upon a time. Let's see if you did back in the day too, going back in time. Not really. I mean, you closed a week there and then moved down, but just I guess, kind of, yeah. Right there. If we put it on a daily, it might look more significant. Let's see. Right, like right there, you found resistance, then you moved down. You found support right there too. I don't know. I guess it's got a little bit of significance beyond just the 886 and this high there. To be completely fair, so $1,200 would make sense to find resistance at. Is all I'm saying. But it could move past that. Sometimes you do see moves that ignore the 886, or maybe they find resistance on it. They consolidate back at the 786, and then they move up, and then they move back to their 886, and then they move higher, stuff like that. But you could see a move by the end of the year. All I'm trying to say, the way I have it drawn here would actually be like the very end of the year that you would see this move up to about $1,600, $1,700, somewhere in that zone, right? So anything and everything's possible. We could stop at 875, though I don't think that's going to happen, and I'll kind of detail why I don't think that's going to happen. It's because I don't believe it will. No, that's not enough. 875, right? The first move that we had here was 263%, $875. I mean, this... from our low, that's not our low, I'm sorry. Let me be fair. Maybe even put it a little bit below our low to be safe. Man, I keep doing it a little higher. Let's go right there. Wow. I swear I'm doing it perfectly. I'm going to get it. I'm going to get it this time. I'm just going to go a little bit lower. Who cares? It's still higher, isn't it? No, it's pretty perfect. Okay. Who cares? That would put the price at $991, okay, from that move there. If we see a similar move to what we've seen already. From a low point to a high point there, we saw a 338% move, which would take us up to about $1,200, which again, I think was that the 886? 1,200. Yeah, right up around there. So seeing comparable moves to what we've already seen this cycle, I think it definitely makes sense that we would hit this zone and stop there. But if we get what I'm calling for, which is a stronger move overall because we're breaking out of this consolidation phase and simultaneously starting an uptrend versus Bitcoin, right? I know a lot of you already know what I'm talking about, but we would simultaneously be breaking out of this ascending triangle, forming a higher high and a higher low scenario, the first of which we've never seen for Bitcoin Cash versus Bitcoin its entire existence, right? Starting a new trend and breaking out of this, oops, I thought I had the brush on, breaking out of this consolidation phase that you've been in for your entire life. Doing both of those things at the same time, could this next move be larger than the previous moves? Could we actually go maybe up to 1,700? Could we go all the way up to the 1272? Maybe by the end of the year, we're not at this area, but we're on our way there into the beginning of next year. You know, who knows? Or maybe it is by the very end of this year. I don't think we would see prices this high by the end of the year. I personally think that this zone makes the most sense to me. But we could, I mean, if we're on our way up higher, maybe by the end of the year, like if we were up to these targets, maybe by the end of the year, we're at like $2,000 or something. I don't know. I could see that happening, and then we hit these targets, like it'd be sometime like later or like early Q2 or like later Q1, something like that, but could happen. I don't know. Just spitballing ideas here, but one thing's for certain, one thing that I'm excited about again is that you've got the 382, 236, 618, 382 respect. The next minimum guided kind of target area would be 875 to 1174. If we went to $875 right here, the 786, that'd be smaller than either of the two moves that we've seen before, and I just don't think that's going to happen. I don't think when we break out of this, right, because even going to the 786 would break out of the consolidation phase. It would get you a higher high relatively to here. It would still be a lower high relative to there, but if you take this high, oops, that's not the high. That'd actually be a little bit above it. Take that high there, it's right there. As soon as we break that high, before we even get to the 786, we'll have broken out of this consolidation phase. Are we just going to stop at the 786? Are we going to have the smallest move of the cycle breaking through a very significant area? You know, like I don't know if I believe that. I could see that we run up to the 786, maybe we consolidate around there and then move up to the 886, something like that. I could see consolidating, breaking, and then consolidating and then moving up. Maybe not in that amount of time though. I'm on the monthly here, you know, probably it would be by the end of the year still, but I just don't see us stopping there like permanently, right? That doesn't make sense to me. We're not going to break this multi-year consolidation phase and stop right above it, right? We're not even going to stop here. Ultimately, we've got higher prices in mind, absolutely, but it all starts with this 886 being broken. So let's see if we can get there. If we can, you know, if we do break it, it's not completely on, because we really could find resistance up at this previous cycle high. That's a very significant high. It's not your average thing to deal with. But breaking this really could just mean that we bypass that and go right up to this area. And either way, at this point in time, I would expect that we find resistance in this zone, but that's not a bad thing. Right? It's very normal. So, and the main message of today's broadcast is that Bitcoin Cash is likely going to move up to $875 to $1,700, something like that. I'm really emphasizing the $1,200 to $1,700 zone. Yeah. Okay, so now that we have that out of the way, let's talk about Bitcoin Cash versus BNB for Mr. Hat here. You guys hit that like button. Subscribe if you want to see more content like this. Thank you all for being here. Not BNB market cap. Binance. Sure, it's probably got the most data. BCH USD. Enter. There we go. All right. So this is Bitcoin Cash versus BNB, huh? This is a pretty bad chart too. That makes sense. BNB is a behemoth, man. BNB, what, hasn't it been in the top 5? Or like the top, what's it been? Let's see. At least the top 10. Top 5. It's still in the top 5, yeah. It's a behemoth. It doesn't get talked about enough. It's kind of slept on, actually, which gives me some hope that it could actually do really well this cycle. Like, it's worth $74 billion right now. Watch it break $1 trillion or something this cycle. How crazy would that be? Because it's in the top 5 and it's in the dark, but like it's in the top 5 still. Like how is nobody talking about it regularly? And I'm sure there are people who talk about it regularly. I'm sure I'm just not in the right circles, but I'm not in the right circles for Solana, for XRP, for Dogecoin even. And I love Dogecoin, TRX, and I don't hear about those all the time. You know what I mean? I hear about them sometimes whenever I bring them up, but I don't hear about this thing ever. But it's still in the top 4. There's some stuff going on, man. It's gonna pop. I think it's the biggest crypto exchange in the world's exchange token. It's also the first exchange token that ever existed, at least to my knowledge. Maybe it was just the first majorly adopted one, but man, enough talk. This is not a history lesson, damn it. We're talking about BCH, BNB. What was I gonna do? I was just looking at the top to see where it was in position. On this chart, that's not what I wanted to do. That's the second time I've done that tonight. Monthly RSI, looking more productive than it ever has. Price action versus BNB is also looking more productive than it ever has, right? Maybe not, I guess. I don't know. I would say so. It's the most bullish that it's looked, but it still looks pretty damn bad. You'd like to get that monthly RSI out of the oversold zone. I think that would be a big deal, and that'd probably correspond very well with the move that would take you above this zone, right? Breaking out and seeing that next phase higher. That in culmination with breaking out of the oversold zone, that could send you up a decent ways, right? From a high to a low, if this is your low. And I didn't even actually check to see if that was. So you know what? I'm actually going to do this just to make sure it's not irrelevant. Okay, I gotta fix that. We're gonna fix you up right quick, make you sunny. There we go. Boom. All right. Yeah. Bam. Okay. Low to high. Maybe you go a little bit lower. Maybe Bitcoin Cash loses a little bit of value versus BNB. I wonder, does it respect its fibs? Is that something it does? You don't got a lot of respect there. Kind of, but not your extensions. Not really. Let's see. Because this is kind of a different chart, right? A strange chart, so it might not be as well respected. That's nice. That's actually pretty nice. Okay, that's kind of clean. Hold on. We'll draw this one back on if we need to. I just want to make sure. I don't know. I don't mind that so much. Let's see. One last time. Okay, so there are times where it finds respect on the fib, so that's good to know that we're not just shooting in the dark here. Maybe, but maybe not. I don't know. From a low to a high, I could see you moving down to your 61869. You're at 60. You're at 60% of a BNB right now. That's what that is, right? 0.6 of a BNB. You're probably going to move down to about half of a BNB, give or take 0.02, 0.03, either direction, right? Something down in this area, and then up, and then up. I think your next phase up would take you, and I don't know, I don't think it's appropriate to draw this because we don't have the low figured out yet. But let's look at the daily real quick and just see if we can get an idea. Daily looks like it could go lower. I like that bounce off the 40, but you're up today. Let's see what it looks like. And I'm under the impression that this could go lower. Let's wait and see what it looks like. It's the beginning of the day. 4 hour would suggest that you have lower to go to. You might move up momentarily for the first half of the day, but maybe the second half, or maybe even going into the end of the week, you start moving down more. If you find support here, great. You know, if I'm wrong, and you can get back above this green line, which is also right above this previous area of support, which is probably going to be resistance. If you can get above like 66%, or let's just say actually like probably 70% of a BNB, then I might be wrong. But if not, you're going to go down just a little bit still, right? Not that much. And then move up. But if I am wrong, high to low, target would be 1.71 BNBs per Bitcoin Cash, or 2.29 BNBs, somewhere in there, and maybe higher, man. Maybe higher. I don't know. I don't feel comfortable measuring those fibs. Maybe from here. It's such a weird chart. Probably the 400, huh? You found some respect on some of these as support. Look at that. You're 1618 there too. Yeah, you might. Oh, it's just too deep to really go past that. Though your 4618 lines up with the 1272. The 5618 lines up pretty well with the 1618. I don't know. You might, yeah, 170 to 240. We could just throw it like that. You're at 60 right now. 170 to 240 BNBs, 2.4, 1.7, right? Per Bitcoin Cash. That's what I could see. I hope that makes sense. I hope that was easy to follow, and I hope I answered your questions, Mr. Hat. Yeah, it looks good. It looks good. That's exciting, right? That's pretty exciting that the what number is it? Number 19 coin is looking more bullish than the top 4 coins right now. Probably more bullish than the top 5. That's pretty damn exciting, man. That's good stuff. Anyways, I'll see you guys on the next one. Hit that like button. Subscribe if you want to see more. Take care. Bye-bye.